Hey guys, welcome back to the Entrant, and in this video I will familiarize you with the important legal developments of this week. The present video's information was taken from Law Times Journal, your one-stop destination to the Indian legal fraternity. So let's begin. Judge under scanner in bribery case. A woman has been arrested by the Anti-Corruption Bureau, Pune branch, for seeking and accepting a bribe of 2.5 lakhs, alleging that the judgment of the case will be in favor of the complainant by personally managing the court. Since the accused woman turned out to be an impostor, under the scan of the ACPE, a judge at the Wagnon Marvel Court came in. Next. Panchayat divorce has no legal sanctity. Punjab and Haryana High Court. While recalling that the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955 is a full code and provision for the marriage arrangements as well as the divorce process is mentioned in detail, last month the Punjab and Haryana High Court explained that in the eyes of the Constitution, a Panchayati divorce has no recognition. The bench of Justice Alka Saran found out that all customs such as Panchayati divorce and similar uses cease to have in force in view of Section 4 of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. Sending friend request on social media does not intend to have sexual relation. Himachal Pradesh High Court. The Himachal Pradesh High Court observed while rejecting a bail application filed by a man accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. Just because the girl sent a friend request to the defendant does not grant him the right and freedom to develop sexual ties with her. Justice Anup Chitkara noted that social media is used by people for networking, information and entertainment, not to be stalked or sexually and psychologically abused. Next. Section 124A of IPC is a threat to fundamental right. Plea filed in Supreme Court. A petition was lodged before the Supreme Court asking it, according to Section 124A of the Indian Penal Code, to make the provision against sedition ultra-vires to the Constitution of India. The plea alleges that a colonial rule, such as Section 124A, meant to subjugate the subjects of the British Crown, should not be allowed to proceed in a democratic republic within the continually widening reach of fundamental rights. The petitioners advocate Aditya Ranjan, Varun Thakur, and V. Alencian lodged a complaint claiming that enhanced chilling impact of the systemic abuse of Section 124A of the IPC on liberal democracy and fundamental rights and Article 19(1)A and Article 21 have been exacerbated. The plea claimed that while democratic values have changed, IPC Section 124A, which is a remnant of the colonial period, continues to stifle India's freedom of speech and expression and endanger the lives and liberties of Indian people if they want to express dissatisfaction with the government policies in power. Next. Willful marriage of a minor cannot be allowed to stay with majority attained husband. Allahabad High Court. The Allahabad High Court recently ruled that even though minor has fled her own home and married the man out of her own free will, a minor girl could not be permitted to live in a marital relationship with a man whom she considers to be her husband. Thus, though considering her high school certificate, the bench of Justice J.J. Munir ruled that she is a minor because her birth date was 4th November 2004. Next. Minor consensual sex is a grey area in POSCO Act. Bombay High Court. On last Thursday, the Bombay High Court noted that the passage of the POSCO Act was a significant and progressive step in protecting the children's rights. However, cases of consensual sex involving minor have become a grey area under the law since the consent of the minor is not legitimate in the eyes of the law. The observation came from Justice Sandeep K. Shinde while granting bail to a 19-year-old boy convicted under Section 4 and 6 of the POSCO Act for repeated rape of his minor cousin, along with Sections 376(2)(n) and 354 of the Indian Penal Code 1860. Next. Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Amendment Bill 2021 passed in Rajya Sabha. The bill amends the 2019 J&K Reorganization Act, which bifurcated the former state into the J&K and Ladakh Union Territories. It seeks to merge the current framework for Jammu and Kashmir's India service officers with the framework for Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, Mizoram, and the Union Territory. This would allow the government to deposit IAS, IPS officers, and so on from other Union Territories to the J&K Union Territory. The law is now in effect as an ordinance was presented by the Minister of State for Home Affairs, Kishan Reddy, in the House on February 4th. Next. Office of Profit. Supreme Court directs Election Commission to disqualify 12 Manipur MLAs. On Friday, the Supreme Court released a notice in support of a written petition requesting direction from the Election Commission of India to give its opinion to the Election Commission of India to allow the expeditious disposal of the petition concerning the disqualification of 12 members of the Legislative Assembly of Manipur. The governor of Manipur was disqualified under Article 192 of the Constitution of India for the holding of professional offices. Next. Recording inside government offices should not be prompted. Srinagar High Court. Recently, the Srinagar Court voiced its views against registering government officials without their permissions while in office and carrying out their duties, claiming that the same could constitute a gross breach of constitutional rights and threaten leaks of sensitive public documents. Next. Centre and UPSC agreed to grant extra chance to UPSC candidate. Recently, the central government has decided on the case concerning the UPSC candidate's extra chance. The decision was that the relaxation of the rules will only apply to those candidates who have exhausted their attempts in the Civil Service Examination 2020. No relaxation will be given for those candidates who have not exhausted their permissible number of attempts or for those candidates who are already age barred from the examination. This will only be a one-time relaxation and will not be repeated in the future. The court heard the decision and stated that they want to read the note themselves as it was not straightforward as it involved many conditions. Next. Supreme Court grants ad interim bail to comedian Munwar Faruqi. A Supreme Court bench has granted interim bail to comedian Munawar Faruqi. The comedian recently came under fire for allegedly making derogatory remarks against the Hindu gods during one of his stand-up shows. His bail pleas in the Sessions Court and High Court were all denied since he was said to have hurt the religious sentiments by making those remarks. Next. 4G mobile internet services to be restored in Jammu and Kashmir. Center. The Jammu and Kashmir government has recently decided to restore 4G internet services in Jammu and Kashmir after 2 years. Internet services were shut down since the special status of Jammu and Kashmir was taken down. In an order that was passed by the Home Department of Government of Jammu and Kashmir, which stated that on the advice of a special committee that is formed by the Home Department, revokes all restrictions on mobile data services and fixed-line internet connectivity. Next. Government plans to increase punishment for animal cruelty. The government has recently decided to amend the 60-year-old Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act to make punishments more stringent. Currently, under the Act, the assailant would only be charged between Rs 10 to 50 for any harm such as beating, kicking, torturing, starving, overloading, overriding, and mutilating an animal. The new proposed amended draft categorizes the offence into minor injury, major injury leading to permanent disability, and death to an animal due to cruel practice. The fine is said to range from Rs 750 to Rs 75,000. And jail term up to 5 years for the different crimes. Next. Supreme Court rejects PIL seeking President's rule in UP. The Supreme Court has recently rejected a PIL which sought to impose President's rule in Uttar Pradesh. The petition was filed by advocate C.R. Jayasukin, who alleged that there was a breakdown of law and order, discrimination against minorities, and rising crimes against Dalits in Uttar Pradesh. The court then stated that the petitioner had done no research and asked how it affected his fundamental rights. The court also warned the petitioner of imposing heavy costs if he proceeds to argue the plea any further and dismissed the petition. Next. Rajya Sabha passes bill to regularize unauthorized colonies in Delhi. The Rajya Sabha has recently passed the National Capital Territory of Delhi Laws Special Provisions Second Amendment Bill 2021. This act aims to regularize unauthorized colonies in Delhi. This bill also sought to extend the Delhi Laws Special Provisions Second Act, which was passed in 2011. Since the validity of the 2011 Act expires on the 31st of December 2020, the government decided to extend the operation of the 2011 Act, as the objectives of the Act were yet to be achieved. This bill extended the Act for 3 years from January 1st, 2021 to 31st December 2023. Next. Kerala High Court grants interim protection from arrest to Sunny Leon. The Kerala High Court has recently granted interim protection from arrest to actor Sunny Leon, her husband Daniel Webber, and their employer Sunil Ranjani. All of them were accused for cheating in a case against them in which they did not do a performance that was made under a contract. Next. Ex-ICICI Bank CEO Chanda Kochar granted bail for PMLA case. A special Mumbai Sessions Court, which deals with the Prevention of Money Laundering Act cases, has recently granted bail to the former ICICI Bank Managing Director and CEO Chanda Kochar. This was in connection with a money laundering case involving the ICICI Bank and the Videocon Group companies. In court, her lawyer argued that she was cooperating with the investigative team in the case. He also added that under Section 45 of the PMLA Act, she was entitled to bail, as it states that women are entitled to obtain bail even in a non-bailable offence. The court accepted her bail and imposed a bond of 5 lakhs. That is all for this video. Please do like, share and subscribe to the Entrant, and I will see you next week.